This is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. In West Philadelphia.
All right, welcome back to the Cycling Collab podcast, the off the record, off the cuff, and sometimes off topic look at cycling from at home here and around the world. Your host with the most, Angus. I've been thinking Petrie and Reon. I'm just going to walk a little bit. Nolan, welcome back to the studio, my friend. We're making quite a regular thing at this. We've had a bit of a run in the last few weeks.
We've had a run for our money, mate, just like I did the last few weeks. Getting smoked.
Oh, look, we've had an education in the last couple of weeks, that's for sure, haven't we?
Yeah, for sure, bro. Got smoked, all right. Big time.
We'll get to that in just a second and find out what happened at the Ride the Wilderness race and, of course, Petit Brevet in the weekend. But before we get there, of course, always thank you, everybody who has been watching, following, listening, subscribing, liking, sharing, whatever it is you're doing. We love you doing it. We appreciate it all. Totally hope you enjoyed last week's special episode, Reon, with Michael Vink and Campbell Pithy. That was a two superhumans and two super cyclists.
Yeah, like that was pretty cool. Like we weren't even meant to have guests on this. Like we were just going to do our thing and talk smack for a long time, and then to have those boys on, like, yeah, it was pretty cool. I was like, oh, I wish we had 4 microphones. So if we're looking for a sponsor for another microphone, so holler at us. But it was cool to have Campbell sit patiently and let Vink do his thing, and then Campbell come in. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, man.
We'll take a sponsor for anything, not just a microphone right now. We'll take it.
I need a sponsor for some legs because I'm going shite.
Yeah. But if you didn't see that, do check it out. Do look us up on the podcast, on the however you listen to your podcast, or on YouTube, and have a look at that. Michael Vink and Campbell Pithy was a really cool episode.
Yeah.
Who those guys gave us their time, and it was really cool.
You know, that was a big moment in my life watching those boys do that. It's wicked, Like, imagine the moment is for them, but I was like, in my cycling, 10 years of cycling, whatever, it's a big moment for me having friends do that again, and especially for Campbell. So it's in my history now. It's just a big moment. I always remember that vividly.
We're talking about their efforts not being on our podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, the efforts, of course, but then coming to have the chance to speak to them as well, and like for the boys coming on. All right, yeah, mixed, but yeah, definitely Southland's bad at it.
Totally. Now, something else cool going on before we get carried away here is it is officially competition time. Our first ever proper competition.
Tenelli.
Yeah.
Sick.
A big thanks to one of our supporting partners, Tenelli Cycling Clothing, who we are going to be giving away a pair of their new or newly released cycling cargo bib shorts. These things are damn well awesome. I've got to say that because I was actually a part of the development and getting them out to the market. So it was a pretty cool project I was involved with earlier in the year or last year. And
I was left out. I seen you wearing them and I was like, how you got extra pockets in me? I was like, bro, where's mine? I was like, hold on, Tobias and Hamish Shrews. Hey, how cool is it that Hamish Shrews works for them now though? That's pretty cool. Like Elite Cyclist X Pro, like. And we've actually spoken about getting the under 23 Power Rebo, but now he works for Tenelli. And along as Robin Reed worked for them as well years ago, been to Commonwealth Games, been around, but it's quite cool. Having some Kiwis in there.
Oh, totally. Well, it's a Kiwi-owned Nelson-based clothing company, and legitimate. Like, let's back the truck up. Yes, cargo bibs. You got pockets in the side of your panels. You've got a couple of extra pockets in the back of the bib. Now, I've got food, I've got phones, I've got rubbish, I've got all sorts in there. You're floundering around trying to find places to put shit.
Yeah,
and
I've always wanted a set, and I haven't got a set. And then I was seeing yours, and Kate had a set from someone else on. And you usually had your different gels in each pocket. You had your phone, and I was like, "Oh, cool, bro."
Mate, you just got to know. You got to know people.
Where was my invitation? Stroll sort me out, mate. ASAP.
but as you were just saying, also, Tenelli, they are legit. They are.
Yeah, they're good.
You've got your Raffers, you've got your everybody around the world, those global things. But we have our own New Zealand company who are genuinely, legitly making some cool product.
Yeah. So what's the competition anyway? What's the go?
So what
do I get a prize?
Mate, every day you get to record a podcast.
Yeah, cool. So I'm losing, is what you're saying.
You are a winner. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We'll talk about it a bit later in the show. We're going to give you a key word that you'll need to remember. You're going to need to get on both our the Cycling Collab podcast, Facebook and Instagram. Give them a like, give them a follow. You'll need to do that with Tonelli NZ's page as well. You need to give them a like and a follow on all of their socials.
Sweet.
Then you're going to send us a DM. You're going to send us a direct message on either Facebook or Instagram to the Cycling Collab podcast. And you're going to give us the keyword. And we're going to give you that keyword later in the podcast. So tell us what the keyword is and tell us also how you listen to our podcast. Do you listen to it A, as a podcast, or B, do you watch us ugly buggers on YouTube?
So just wait. So all you got to do is like on Facebook, Tonelli, the New Zealand page on Facebook, and us. And on Insta.
Yep, both socials.
And then and us as well.
Correct.
And then message us the secret word later on the show.
That's the ticket. You've got it already. And we will look to draw a winner on Friday the 10th of December. That'll give you guys a couple of weeks to listen to the podcast, work out where the keyword is, and
what's the
send
prize?
us a message.
What's the prize?
Oh, well, that is. Did I not say that? Did I not say that?
No,
okay.
I
Well, the
forgot.
prize is that we're giving away a pair of their cargo bibs.
Oh, savage. Okay, cool.
So
Can I enter?
Your size, mate, you can enter as many times as you like.
Who's drawing the prize?
So, we'll do this legitimately. We'll put everybody's name into a random generator app, and it'll randomly generate a winner. And I also want to say I was talking to Tonelli today, and they have no problem if you are listening to this and entering from England, Australia, South Africa, wherever it is. We will send you the cargo bibs anywhere in the world.
Cool.
You don't even just have to be here in New Zealand.
Cool, sweet.
It's a pretty sweet deal, I reckon.
Good, yeah, sweet. Some free bib shorts, some cargo bib shorts.
Yeah,
cool. Shot.
Thank you, Tonelli.
Yeah, shot.
News of the world, bro. We're running week after week here at the moment with our podcast, and probably cycling's not moving quite as quickly as we are at the moment. So,
true.
What have we picked?
Well, the Black Spoke, New Zealand. Oh, so hard. I better say the name right. What's their full team sponsor's name?
Ooh, Black Spoke or Bolton Equities Black Spoke Cycling.
Yeah, so obviously they're a Kiwi team, and we've been talking about them quite a bit. So they've just released their two new signings. One is a young fella, Mitchell Fitzsimmons, I think I pronounced Mitchell Fitzsimmons, I think. Oh, I can't say it right properly. He's a little weapon anyway. He's like a bit of a younger track rider, he's changed over the road. So they've just signed him. I'm pretty sure he run age group nationals or something, maybe. What else? He's raced over in Belgium too, a couple of podiums in Belgium, like first place, I think. And then I think he's been on the podium 3 or 4 times as well. So like a good little up and comer rider there.
So a young up and comer rider going to get his New Zealand team to give him some more European experience.
So he'll be getting a badass Pinarello bike, TT bike. Well, I think they get 3 or 4 bikes. I don't know. That's a guess. But imagine young fella signing for that team there. A pretty awesome thing. So that's, and also
because. Am I wrong in saying that Ineos Grenadiers are the only other ones that have got Pinarellos? Who else has got Pinarellos in the pro peloton?
Oh, maybe. I don't want to get it wrong, but I think in the World Tour, I think they're the only ones.
I was just trying to think if there was actually one more. I can't remember, to be fair, but nonetheless, there must only be 2 if there is. But there's definitely one. Ineos Grenadiers, who are perceived as one of
the other Pro Conti teams. Surely there's 1 or 2 others around.
I mean, like Ineos, they are a super team, right? They're plenty of money and all those sort of things, running the fancy Pinarellos. Sure. And here is New Zealand's Bolton Equities Black Spoke Cycling running just the equal gear.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, really. Awesome. And the other sign, bro, is Regan Goff. So he's a well-known weapon. This guy's been to the Olympics twice. Rio, and what was the last one? Tokyo
2020/21.
And he's a junior. I think he won Madison points race, junior world champion, and he's gold team pursuit. I've got it written down here. Team pursuit gold and world champion as well. So and he, you know what though? He's a real nice guy. Like he's like he's stylish. 2, he's bloody good looking, and 3, just an all-round nice guy for cycling in general. So yeah, that's 2 obviously little hitters there for. My interesting thing is who else are they signing? So these two fellas, they got the junior, they've got Regan, and who else is coming up? I'm and it's so that's going to be interesting over the weeks or months to come out. Would be pretty cool, eh?
Do you think there's an announcement or 2 to come? Is that what you're saying?
Well, surely, but also who's leaving the team. So when new riders come in, who's going out, which will be the other interesting thing.
This is good. Now I've got it. I know that the Cycling Collab podcast roll around with some pretty influential people in the cycling world. So you can guarantee if something's happening, we will find out and we will be able to break it to you. You can guarantee that. That'll
be interesting, eh? Yeah, interesting. And so I don't know who else. What else is in cycling news of the world, mate?
Well, something of a small bit of interest that's happening over in the States. It's not happening home here in New Zealand,
gravel.
Well, gravel/mountain bike lifetime events, they're called. They're a huge event owner company that own a lot of events. They are just offering up a 6-round series through some of their lifetime event races that are mega. So we're talking about Unbound Gravel, we're talking about Leadville 100, we're talking about Crusher and the Tusher, which is a multi-day stage mountain bike race.
Crusher and the Tusher?
Yeah,
okay,
that's pretty
Continue.
cool.
Yeah.
Sea Otter Classic, Big Sugar Gravel. So there's 6 races. They're offering up 250 Ks worth of prize money for the series that they are going to handpick based on applications, 20 male, 20 females to compete for this 250 grand. Money split evenly across the thing. It's going to be a points thing, so you got to do 5 of the 6 races, or you can do all 6 and drop your worst. Points at the end are going to take the money away. It's another really cool way of reinvigorating cycling and bringing some hype to it outside of, I guess, Pro Peloton World Cup races, non-UCI type sort of stuff, bring some legitimate.
It's non-UCI.
Look, I'm pretty sure those races are still non-UCI. I'm pretty darn sure they're still non-UCI. Yeah. And what we've seen in the States is a lot of ex-pros come out of the pro cycling, but then some people that have chosen not to go there as well, who are running, I guess, privateer teams, but are making a real living out of not having to go chase UCI World Cup mountain bikes, chase the road peloton. They can actually do it at home and make a good living out of cycling as a job. It's really cool.
So now my thing is narrow. So I wonder when you're going to get the likes of well, hold on, you had Remco. He went over to the States and did when they released the S-Works gravel bike, the lightest gravel bike. He flew over from Europe or whatever, and then raced the next day, and then I think he got dropped or whatever, but he showcased a new S-Works bike. My question is, if that much prize money's up for grabs, I wonder how many pros are thinking, oh, maybe I might give this a go, or ex-pro's going to jump back in it, or is Sagan going to make you know what I mean? Because, mate, I'd be doing that.
Well, somewhat. I was thinking about this when I read it and heard about it, and I was thinking, this is a bit bloody elitist that they're going to pick the 20. But actually, maybe they're onto something here, because exactly like you just said, there's a lot of prize money up for grabs. Why wouldn't these pros all of a sudden drop tools, or in a off season or whatever, slide across and try and do this? But by them actually picking, they can actually cut those pro teams out. They can stop. They could stop having a Trek or whoever enter 5 people and try and take the money or do whatever. So they've actually maybe got something going there. I don't know what their criteria is. I don't know how they're picking. So who's doing
that'll
what.
Be interesting
for
me. You hope they don't have teams A. Because you get. I mean, this is just out the gate stuff. You'd say 4 quick step guys come over, 2 Trek, and then you got Stettner or whatever. So you do have all these teams kind of come over, and then try and it'll be kind of or definitely an unfair advantage. It'll be wicked if the 20 riders will be all individual privateers, or you know what I mean. So it is kind of controlled, which will be quite. I don't know. I'm hoping it's that way anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see how it comes out, won't it? But and then lastly, in the news of the world, there something that is of interest to you potentially, even, is that the bike shortage continues. We're seeing this drama of just suppliers not being able to supply frames, componentry. It just continues, and I have it on good authority that maybe. You were just looking at a couple of options there that may not go your way there, Reon.
Nah, I'm getting, it frustrates you, because I think we're all used to getting what we want when we want, pre-COVID and pre-whatever. And, there's a wicked clip on YouTube. It shows you what's really happening, because the tariffs between US and Asia have gone through the roof. Everyone's infighting, and because of COVID, the people can't work in the factories now, so they're only employing so many people. So they're down to 15% of the workforce. So then the stuff that the factories are producing, they're going with cars or stuff with the higher, those types of things. It's so interesting, eh? And then we're the last on the list kind of thing. And now they can't afford to have stockpiles and stockpiles, because can't afford to run the factories, so they're just making what they can, catching up, and then they're releasing all the new stuff, and it's like
They haven't even supplied half the old stuff.
yeah. But I feel it, but yeah, crazy.
And that is a bit of a problem here in New Zealand. We are just the bottom.
That's right.
We're only just such a small margin of everything that we do get left out.
But I'm not going to lie, bro. Have you seen the new Trek gravel bikes?
Mate, I have seen the new Trek gravel. I did notice, and we're going to look. We've got shitloads to talk about.
Bro.
But I did notice after the weekend that you started all of a sudden looking at gravel bikes.
Mate, I was like, I'm getting rid of every single bike I own apart from a mountain bike, and I want a Trek gravel bike. They're so badass and hot. Like Kate wants the S-Works, one of the lightest gravel bikes. Just saying.
Well, all I can say is that I've been preaching gravel bikes for some years now. And people are just slow to come get on board.
Well, I got a good learning lesson, I can tell you that much.
Righto, let's talk about what we're here for this show, because we're doing a bit of a recap on a couple of events that have happened in the last 2 weeks that the Cycling Collab podcast have been away and had a crack at a couple of events, because we just don't just talk about these events. We actually like to go and partake, and I got to say, mate, we got an absolute schooling 2 weekends in a row.
It was pretty
You're
crazy.
Supposed to be the pro of this damn show, and
oh, mate, I got put right in my place, didn't I?
Christ,
it was fun though, eh? It was pretty cool. It was pretty awesome.
So let's talk about the first one 2 weekends ago. Ride the Wilderness race on the west coast of South Islands, New Zealand. It's a trail.
You got to do it. If you haven't done it, you got to do it.
So beautiful. So let's just talk about what it is. The longest version, which what we did, was the 126 k's from a little town in Ross where there's a pub, and that's about it. The public toilet, and probably that about sums it up.
Yeah.
All the way through to Greymouth. There's a 95k that starts at Hokitika, and then Cowboys Kamara along the way to smallen it up. The trail is like all the other cycle trails and things. It's an easy-ish gradient type sort of thing. It is one of the most beautiful scenic things. Now, we had, I don't even know how to put this, but we had rain like you have never seen rain.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was brutal.
Nobody was blessing the rains in Africa on that day, I tell you.
Well, the crazy thing was, it was pissing down. It was
lightning. We had lightning.
Yeah. On the way there, it was like a Tour Southland, worst day in hell in Tour Southland weather-wise. Just not the wind, but just pissing down. And then it went away for the start kind of thing, like when the warm out. That was good, eh? There was no rain, light spitting kind of thing. Everyone was all rain jacked up. Everyone knew that was coming again. So we're in this sort of like the eye of the storm. There was nothing, but it was all around us. And then once the race started, holy hell. First of all, just to recap on that, bro, that race was like a bat out of hell. Like the boys and Kate was barely hanging on. I got dropped.
I was only just hanging on.
3K, bro, I got dropped. That's how fast I got dropped.
I said to Kate, I'm ready to stop. I'm ready to lean off as soon as you're ready, thinking I'll find myself a riding.
It was unbelievable. And I knew, so when we rode the night before, we went to the sign on and stuff, and I was kind of hoping, I hope there's a couple of good guys here and fitter guys. But in my mind, I was like, surely I can get a top 5. You know what I mean? Really. And I didn't really respect other riders' like abilities, but I didn't really respect me as well, because I made the hugest mistake. I was like, I'll just leave my 30 chainring on that I had for the Walker, the 5,000 meter climbing Walker, and for the Brevet as well. So I was like, I won't change it. I should be okay. You know what I mean? 3.5 k's in, we were doing 47 k's an hour, and I was getting shelled. I couldn't even hold the cadence. 120 cadence RPM. I got shelled, and I just got back on the right turn into the single track. Then you hit the bollards. You're coming over those bridges and those little bollards, mate. And I went left one way, and so I probably just about clipped 2 or 3 of them.
I was the same. I want it on the record on the podcast. There's 2 things I want on the record tonight.
Here we go.
We'll wait just for another 5 sentences before I get to the second one. The first one I want on the record is that I actually had to do some work on the front on my own of our little bunch so that I could tow Reon Nolan back to the lead group.
Yeah, so I'll run you through what happened there. So the race went full gas, and I was like, this was full gas, like a Southland race for me. Like, there was people attacking. I was going backwards, and I was looking up the road saying, what are these guys on? They're all on drugs. But really, I just had no gearing. Like, they all had 40s on, 36s, 34s. And I was blown away. It was like a full-on little club race, full-on attacking each other. It was pretty cool, actually. And what happened was it did split. Little groups got back on. There was probably like maybe 25 in the front group. You were still there at the time. We're all coming back and forth. I got split on the downhill. I couldn't keep up. I had no gears. I couldn't keep up. And I was going as hard as I could. And that's when I looked behind and seen you with Kate, and probably, I think Ben Hillary was there,
Yep.
There was about 4 or 5 other of you guys, eh?
Yeah, Mitch Brooklyn was there, and just trying to
Tony?
think. Yeah, Tony might have been there at that stage, and
Yeah.
Tom Pierce might have been still with us then too.
Nah,
Unless
he was up the road.
Tom
He was
was up
the
with
road.
his brother.
Yeah, he was ripping up the road. And I was like, I got dropped, and I'd look back at you guys. I was like, I'm gonna have to sit on for you because I can't catch up. And I seen that kind of like falls flat into like a maybe 30-second climb. And then so I set up and waiting for you guys. And then you know, obviously everyone was like, that was full gas. And then you actually saying the day, I was like, oh, you're trying to get us going. That we're rolling a little bit for like 3 or 4 minutes. And the pretty cool moment, I was like, if I'm going to get across that group, it's got to be up that climb because I use the hill to use my cadence. You know, you obviously pulled a turn, and I nearly didn't get there. The problem was I had to get to them over top of the climb on the kind of downhill part, which I just got there. Then it turned left. So then I made the front group there was probably like 12 to 13 guys in that front group. And then we hit the single track on the left. And there was like cyclocross bikes, gravel bikes, a couple of mountain bikes. And mate, I can tell you now, they had someone had a 40, a couple of them had the 40 chain rings on, 36s, 34s, like ripping it. And that's when the thunder and lightning started to come. And then there was 3 crashes. Steve Roberts was up there. He came off around the corner. That was the last kind of, when people had to unclip and stop. But and that was just bunching up around like a little switchback. But a couple of guys on cross bikes binned it full gas because every like say 100 meters there was this like wood plank that you couldn't see was there, but it had like this little ledge, and they just ran straight into it, come off, and then everyone had to unclip, and that's how the kind of group kind of started splitting apart. Mate, I couldn't get back onto that. Those guys were flying, like and riding amazing as well, and then they were gone, mate, gone on the wind.
It was that moment that moment there that you're talking about. I remember those boards because I was on my gravel bike, and I actually had Kate on behind me. And, and
she was swinging,
and no, she was going good.
Yeah, she was going good.
And but I had to just back off just a little second each one of those, just so I could quickly lift up and over it. Because you just can't smash it like you can on a mountain bike. So it was a bit awkward there, but. At about that moment in that stretch, that's when it really rained. That's when it rained like I'd never seen it rain. In fact,
you're getting the white flashing.
The lightning happened, and I didn't actually know what it was. I actually thought it was my Garmin lighting up. You know how when you touch the screen and the backlight comes on, I'm like, oh. And then I looked at it, I was like, oh, it wasn't that. And I was like, was that lightning?
Yeah.
And it was so friggin' bad that it was epic. Like it was just an unreal scenario you're probably not going to get very often.
Nah. And then what happened there is those front guys got away, and it was me, Steve Roberts, and is it James Gilmore?
Yep.
The like bigger, stronger kind of guy. Yeah, it was. I caught up to Steve, and then James, and then Ben Cannon as well, and then we started rolling for a while. But mate, I just honestly had nothing. I couldn't ride hard on the front because I had no gearing. And I tried for a while, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore. I just set up. I was like, I'm going to ride, just have fun.
Well,
just my mind.
Just anyway. Backing up before we get to that next bit, just going right back to the start, that we'd gone over there. The Cycling Collab podcast had gone over there. We had our own little team camp there. We had our caravans and vans and everything set up there and things. We'd had we had a few other friends with us.
Yeah,
and we'd been and had our little team dinner. We were having a real hoot of a time.
Yeah,
right?
It was awesome.
We had an unfortunate set of circumstances there too.
Shite.
Poor old Sandra. She got on her Cervelo gravel bike just to give it a run round. She was doing the 95 from Hokie, and for God knows whatever reason, it broke the hanger on the axis derailleur and broke the cage on through the derailleur into the spokes. Broke a couple of spokes. Broke the derailleur in half. That was a complete disaster.
That was a shocker, eh? Gutted.
Nathan Sharrett, good on him. We then set up a mountain bike for Sandra to ride, thinking she could still ride the next morning.
An enduro, a Norco enduro, with like the front wheel was like poking, you know, like one of those full gas enduro bikes. And we were trying to talk her into it nicely, supportive and stuff like that. He was moving bottle cages on. We're changing seats. We're changing everything.
We did. We changed everything. And Sandra was happy as hell. Well, not happy as hell. She was dead keen. She wanted to ride. She'd come to ride. And that's what she was going to do. And then both her and I woke up that next morning unwell with the runs. We had the old shits. And it was a complete disaster. And, you know, we went to Ross. The minute we arrived at Ross, I dived out of the ute straight across to the dunny to bloody empty some more. So I actually had no idea what was going to happen with me because I just didn't have anything. So on that first section, I was struggling to hang on the back, but we managed to stay there for as much as we could.
Yeah.
And then once we'd slingshot you and you'd gone, I actually said to Kate, well, I'll give you everything I got till Hokie, and I'll go to Hokie and I'll see how I'm feeling. And if I'm no good, I'll just sit up and ride. And thinking that actually what I'll probably do is run into Sandra along the way and I'll ride with her for the day because she's going to have a hell of a day ahead of her on somebody else's bike. We get to Hokie. And I've been trying to help Ben Hillary and things. And we've been working away there together, just sort of three of us on the front. And I think we had Tom Pierce at that stage with. And arrive at Hokie, and here's Sandra standing on the side of the road. She had decided not to ride in the end, which was the best decision she ever made.
Move,
and all of a sudden, I had a whole lot of relief. And I'm like, okay, right, well, maybe I need to carry on here. And so away we went. So we carried on that next section, and we were probably going as we were going as hard as we could, trying to work it out. Some of us were rolling faster than others that were on gravel bikes.
Yeah.
And then we ran into the tractor. Then here's old Reon.
Oh,
here's old Reon. We come out of a section of single track, and here you are looping the road, and we're like,
okay,
what are you doing?
I was like, I couldn't ride. I was like, I'll go back and find you fellas. And I didn't want to go back in the single track because I didn't want to make everyone crash. But yeah, I was quite happy at that stage. I was, sweet, just ride with you fellas. You know what I mean? It's quite cool. Quite fun.
It was most appreciated, that's for sure. Because you did. There's no doubt you did a heap of work for us along the way from then on the front, breaking some wind. I had a couple of little incidences where I ended up falling off and having to come back and backwards and forwards. And, it was a tough day.
Yeah, it was a cool ride though, eh? Stunning. So the cool thing, it's cool. I like meeting people on this. So there's a guy that works for Department of Corrections who I work for, alongside in a community program, but his name's Craig, but it's quite cool. And we came past him in the last probably 30K. And I was like, what's he doing here? He does all these random bike rides, like hard at. It's quite cool. And then I was like, oh, Kate, this is Craig. And I did a bit of introduction, but that was a cool moment for me, actually.
And what else was cool is that Tony we were riding with. Riding along there before we met up with you. And we're riding along there, and he's just like, we're sort of side by side there, and he's just like, love your podcast, mate. And I was like,
he's a good
how
dude.
How you fix that? We've got a podcast fan, and then we joined up with you, and I'm like, hey, Reon, we've got a podcast fan.
Well, that's why I rode the front for 3 hours. I was like, hey, sit on, guys, I got you covered.
Yeah, you were showing off, weren't you?
No, but then anyway. So going back to the race, Ollie PSA.
Yeah, so forget us.
Yeah, let's just get off the guys. Yeah, the seriousness. So you know what I thought? As soon as that race started, when full gas got dropped, I was like, man, I was so gutted because I was like, the weather, the storm, the conditions. There was like 10 very strong guys there when we seen the start list, and I was so gutted. I was like, man, I effed up. Gearing and da-da-da. I wanted to be a part of that race. But anyway.
Probably worked out better for me.
Yeah, well, maybe. But Ollie, man, I said to myself, whoever wins today, you'll be bloody proud of that. And he won that, and he attacked the race after 50K, got away, didn't want to take Quintus there because Quintus got a bit of a kick to him, and he's riding pretty well. He did the last bridge to bridge, kicked their ass as well. But that's a wicked ride. There's a cool photo of Ollie probably 10 meters in front up that climb after that steep climb. I think it's Quintus, maybe 10 meters back, going for dear life, trying to catch back up. Another bad story was that Ollie's seat dropped as well. Ollie Hansen, he was my pick for the win, actually.
So let's just clarify that. You're talking about Ollie Hansen with the seat drop, but Ollie that we were talking about before is Ollie Pierce, who's defending champion because he won it the year before.
Yeah.
But for anybody who doesn't know who Ollie Pierce is, he's like 4 foot nothing. Right. So
you said that, not me. He's a good looking
Ollie,
man.
love you to bits, Ollie, mate.
Do you know that
I know you'll be listening or watching.
Dad is a cool dude, man. Malcolm.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. Back to your story. Continue.
So, but just to put that in perspective, is that big burly Reon here with all his muscles and all his bloody strength. Ollie's just a little fella. My God, and his brother Tom. They're just two, and man, can they ride bikes?
Yeah, that's right. They used to ride road cycling years ago, and I think someone said to me they used to be like Michael Vinks. I wouldn't not disrespect Vink or anyone, but they were like the who's who of cycling. Had so much potential, and I don't know. We should find out, but I think they just kind of stopped and moved on or whatever. But man, they're weapons, aren't they?
Oh, absolute weapons.
Yeah,
Ollie's a weapon, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
And rides all sorts of disciplines as well. Still rides his mountain bike rides, cyclocross rides, gravel bike, does all sorts of things. So it was awesome. Always knew that he would have another crack at it, and he did the year before. He did the same thing. He just went hard from the start and tried to see what
I think he was trying to break the record this year, but it was headwind last 20K, like block headwind, and it was never going to happen really, you know what I mean? But Yeah, interesting. So that was a wicked win for him. And I mean, Quintus, is that you say his name?
Yep, Quintus Vermeulen.
Yeah, another good rider from
Sorry,
him
mate,
as well.
if I pronounced your name
He's,
wrong.
he's another beast as well.
Our resident South African now.
Yeah,
he's a top bloke as well. And he's actually, it's hard sometimes when you look at people and you go, oh, we're all the same age. And you and I, we're still young fellas. Well, we're not actually young fellas anymore.
That's right.
Quintus has still got plenty of youth and potential in him, but has certainly switched it on in the last year or two. But some interesting things went on there. It was one of those days that was a battle all day long, especially that blockhead wind was just incredible. I think I was pushing 280 watts or something, doing 17 or 16k an hour or something. Was as fast as I could go with that.
It's
our good friend of the podcast as well, Ben Cannon, who had gone up the front and gone off the front. All of a sudden, I was really surprised. All of a sudden, he appeared. He appeared there, and we caught up to him and passed him. So he'd gone hard, and and if you don't go, you don't know. Go until you blow. It was a great effort from Ben. So generally, just a really tricky, tough old day in the weather.
Yeah.
Like we said before, it's a beautiful ride. It didn't matter how bad it was, and they actually, even on a bad day, it was pretty darn nice.
Yeah, stunning. You go across that bridge. What do you know the bridge? And
I don't know what it's called.
Look to the right, and you can see a river that's cut in the gully. I said to Kate, look right. We're ripping it, and she was like, I was actually going to say, should we stop and get a photo? That's how beautiful it was, eh?
So I was just going to say, cool. I was just going to mention Kate. Because at least somebody held their end of the bargain up for the podcast.
That's a good point.
Kate McElroy managed to win the women's and get 16th overall. So somebody stood on the podium from the podcast, which was great to see.
Yeah, good point.
I think myself, I was a top 15 finisher at the race, and Reon, you were...
Mate, I set up. No, what? Where did I come?
17th. We were 15. We were 15, 16, 17.
I got a top 20, mate. I'm stoked. All right, stoked.
I can remember you came up to me, and we'd been together, and and we'd been working hard. And Kate, we got to Kamara, and we get through Kamara, and then all of a sudden Kate blows up, and we're in shutdown mode, and that's okay. And I'm all happy with that because actually I've just had enough myself. And anyway, I'm just up there a little bit, and you come riding up to me, and you go, "Oh, we want you to go on. We want you to race on, and get a result." And I'm just like, mate, I've got cramp. This is me.
I was like, oh, that's awkward.
I'm going as fast as I can, but
and then Tony Fowler took off. I was like, go get him.
And there's just no way I could get him back. And then when we got in that headwind, it was just everybody to their own. So,
but to sum that race up, it's actually so only 4 people pulled out who entered. It was pissing down with raining, and we knew that weather was coming for the 4 days
for the 126
for the 120. And all these old people of all ages, of all like cycling abilities, so not like professional riders or whatever, like all types of riders, mums, dads, aunties, whatever. 4 people pulled out of over 100 riders. That's awesome.
It was cool.
Yeah, that's commitment. I rate that. That's good on everyone for bloody finishing that.
A couple of extra special mentions there. One to Nicola Duncan and Chris Blatchford. Right. Chris rode with Nicola all day long on the 126, and I think they were. Let's put this in perspective. We were 4 hours. Yeah. Well, actually, Ollie was 4 hours. I want to say 16 or something. I think it was. Yeah. We were 4 hours 17. He might have been, and we were 4 hours 48 or 6 or something. They put half an hour into us, so like huge effort. They did that, and then Nicola, who'd had a great day but a long day. I think they were 7 hours or just on or just under or whatever. And Chris had ridden with her all day, so that had a long all day, but they had a fabulous day.
I generally, when it started pissing down like that, I was like, oh, they were in for a shocking eye. I was like, oh, I don't know if they'll finish because of the cold.
Yeah.
And when I heard they finished, I was like, that's even harder than our race because we were only out there for 4 hours.
Well, some of us went down to the finish line to see them finish.
Mate, I was in
some of the others were asleep, resting up.
Mate, I was gone. Like, mate, I was gone for all money.
But actually, I want to give an extra special shout out to Nathan Sharrett. Who I'm not even going to tell you what his story is because I think it's a story that he needs to tell if he's up to telling it about. He didn't compete. He was out there supporting us and he was getting around in somebody else's vehicle. And anyway, it's a story. If you know Nathan Sharrett, that maybe you should ask him how his Ride the Wilderness day went.
I'm glad you didn't bring it up, Gus. So calm down, mate. Calm down.
So that was the Ride the Wilderness. I totally recommend if next year, if you haven't done it and you're local
Yeah.
in the South Island, or even if you're in the North Island,
Yeah.
or bloody hell, if Jacinda opens the borders, you could come from Australia even. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty epic. Eh? Pretty epic.
It's a pretty cool race.
Be
It
cool to
is.
break the record for that. It can be done. Easy, actually.
I think the wind, it's all about the wind. There's no doubt it's about the wind in that last
that's right.
15 Ks.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
where it's at.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, before we move on to our next weekend, the weekend just been Saturday. Well, let's just call it Saturday. It didn't even turn into be a whole weekend in the end. I just want to ask you, Reon. Well, actually, let's just talk about it. We're away doing all these races. We you know, we're lucky enough to have plenty of gear and all sorts of things along the way. But what would be your essential bits of kit that you would, or give me one piece of kit that you would take with you to go and do a race, or if you were going away for a weekend?
Oh, it's definitely my Gore-Tex jacket. Is that what you mean? Clothing?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, no, definitely my shake dry. I was like, oh, they're all the fancy rich people. I got them. Mate, best jacket I've ever had. 100%. Yeah, 100%. My point being is because it's totally waterproof. They're so bloody expensive, but it's so light. You can fold it up to like smaller than your fist. It's so light. Chuck it on and it's full gas waterproof. So hands down, shake dry material jacket, rain jacket.
And I actually got a.
Why?
You convinced me into that. It took a whole lot of convincing.
Yeah.
Because look, there's no doubt these Gore-Tex shake dry material are bloody expensive. And Rafa do one, Castelli do one, and Gore-Tex themselves do one.
I'm pretty sure it's the Gore-Tex have got the patent material.
Right, and they sell it on.
Yeah. Actually, Catman do have a jacket. If you want a Catman hiking jacket, they've got a shake dry in there.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's got a hood and it's not really fitted, but still same material.
Yeah, right. But not quite as lightweight and as fold downable as what we're talking about.
No, same. But it's just not fitted for a cyclist. It's more like a hiking, but it's still the same
material. Same idea.
Yeah.
I agree. Like,
so that's
only been recently you've talked me into that, and I'd have to say that was a very bloody expensive but worthwhile. In fact, mine turned up on the Thursday before we went
that's right.
to the wilderness, so I was pretty thankful for mine. That's for sure.
100%.
It certainly did its trick. I'm going to bring to the table something we've actually been lucky enough to be mucking around with, and that is nutrition's always a big thing along the way.
Yes.
And I am one that has had a lot of stomach issues on certain products and bits and pieces. And a big shout out to Tailwind. They actually, let's be honest about this, they actually sent us some product, I don't know, some weeks ago to try out. We've been trialing it over Ride the Wilderness and over the Petit Brevet and a few other training rides and bits and pieces. I know you've actually dabbled in it for some time beforehand. So a big shout out to them, because what they actually did, they sent it to me and I said, well, that's all very well, thanks very much, Mark, but until I actually know whether this stuff works, I ain't going to talk about it, because we're not here just to bloody you know. So I want to talk about it, because in the weekend,
what are your thoughts, mate?
Well, two things. One, Ride the Wilderness, I was crook. I had the shits, and I had to work out how I was going to get enough nutrients. I couldn't eat solids. It was just a disaster.
Gotcha.
And luckily, I had 3 bottles full of Tailwind, and their sachets are like 200 carbs per thing. I am reasonably.
So that sachet thing is 200 grams of carbohydrate.
Yeah,
straight up.
Are
you sure?
That's what it is. I'm bloody sure that's what it is.
That's a lot. Are you sure? Isn't it 50 or 80?
Nah.
You should look it up.
Well, we should have had this earlier, but
you should have had. This is your. What is this? Your pick of the week.
This is my pick of the week. Well, yeah, that's right. Let's have a look here. What does it say? We'll just look it up online.
Do you put one of those little sachet things in each bottle, right? So 750 ml
in each one. Oh, sorry, it's 200 calories.
Yeah,
not 200.
Yeah, there we go. So how many grams of carbohydrates?
It's 54 grams.
See, I was
carbs.
right,
so
wasn't I?
Right. Sorry, got my thing right. So 200 calories, 54 grams of carbs.
Gotcha.
Let's get the numbers right. Good work.
Yeah.
We did say once that sometimes we do have proper facts, but I'm reasonably convinced that I could take the fluid. Right. I couldn't chew and I couldn't eat because it was coming, but I could take the fluid. So I'm pretty sure that was one of the things that got me through feeling crook, got me through that. To sustain some energy to get through. So
a couple of stages in Tour Southland, I think a couple of years ago, mate. Actually the whole tour I had a crazy virus brain. I couldn't eat food. Like I'd be spewing, like the worst situation. In and out of the hospital and stuff. I was so maxed out. My mind wouldn't let me give up. I should have given up and pulled out of the tour. I couldn't. I pride and ego. Anyway, I got through 4 days of racing in race on Tailwind. No joke whatsoever, bro. No
Right.
joke. And it's not saying I couldn't eat food. If I went to put food in my mouth and I went to swallow, I would actually throw that up straight away. But I could drink carbohydrates. But I needed, so like I say, I needed like lots of carbohydrates to drink, and so I was fine with that. The other one I had is another company do like 80-gram carbohydrates, which I found was too much.
Better fuel or better
better fuel, which
yeah.
like Chris Froome used for that stage that he won, went solo.
Yep.
So there's a lot of talk around all this carbohydrate intake numbers and stuff like that. But a lot of people are using Tailwind now, and the SOE stuff as well.
Yep.
And there's a couple of others, but so you found it good?
Yes,
right?
and like so, Tailwind say that you should be able to use their drink and only their drink, and that's it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I can't. There's no way I can quite bring my mental state round to that, and I'd still supplement it with some gels or some food or whatever, because I haven't probably done enough testing and or got myself to that point to be sure that you could go all the way just on fluid alone in some events. I'm sure on some you can, but
yeah, that's right. It's interesting, because the whole fear about like bonking and cracking, so not having lollies, not that I would anyway, but like gels, the little goo thing, the like those 25-gram carbs chew things from goo, gels from Pure, which I fucking love. The taste of the honey one is amazing. You got all sorts. You got the goo gels, you got the Roctane gels, which are $7 each. You got all the stuff. Then you've got the bars that you can eat as well. And it's kind of like in tour racing and back-to-back stuff. It's like I think a lot of fear in kind of cyclists or even elite athletes are that kind of that I know in my kind of circles anyway, is like the whole fear of surely you can't just drink this carbohydrate mix and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, surely I have to have a gel every 45 minutes or every hour when I'm about to box. We'll have this gel, or can I just drink this mix that's in there? I think it's learning to trust it and trialing it, what works for you as well. Maybe I don't know.
That's right, and I'm way still at the early stages of this, but you can probably, if you see me in my liker, you'll know that I actually like to eat.
You know what you should do,
but you know what I mean. Like some people actually like the actual mental state of putting and chewing something. Sometimes
that's right.
It's the mental thing of actually I'm eating something and it does something for you.
It's the other thing about digestion is keeping the system going as well, is my fear as well. Like, say if you've got a 7-day stage race, and I'm talking 7-day stage race as in 150 Ks a day, racing 4 to 4.5 hours full gas, but also needing to get the calories in during the day as well. Because there's not, if you're out for 5 hours just racing, drinking 1 bottle or 2 bottles or 3 or 4, say 6 bottles, do you need to eat more food to keep the digestive system going and pushing your bowel through and all whatever? It'd be interesting to actually find out about that. You should hit them up about what research they've done and whatever, and then you can talk about it. But my challenge to you is, so if they do say you can have, I love how I'm calling you out on this here, bro. Don't delete it. My challenge to you is, if you're doing some secret thing soon, 280K thing, I won't get into that. Why don't you ask them if you think this would be sufficient for it, and then why don't you trial it in that?
Well, I think we.
Oh, you see, there's the fear, because you don't know.
No. There's 2 things there. One, there is. I told you about this before. Let's be careful what we say on this podcast, because then we're committed to what we're saying. Right? Yes, we got that little project that's sitting there that needs to happen. I think it's a great way to probably do it there. There needs to be a sufficient amount of testing before that. So Tailwind, if you want to go down some testing process, we can do that. We're trialing all sorts of things. But I think, and they have already got a lot of research. There's a lot of research online on Tailwind and things that you can actually go and see. They've done all the studies and bits and pieces. So I guess what that thing is that in the Petit Brevet in the weekend too, if I'm a cramp sufferer, always have been, think I probably always will be. Carbohydrates are a great thing. Cramps normally a lack of carbs and things going on through the body as well. It's been put down to that. Obviously, as you know, I started to get cramp during the weekend. We'll talk about that again in a minute. And I keep piling in the Tailwind. I think I went through like 11 bottles of Tailwind throughout Saturday, 13 hours or something. So 11 or 12 bottles of it I went through. My cramp went away eventually, and it never came back. Under all the duress and stress that we put it through all those climbs, it never came back. And I don't know. I have no idea whether that was it or not. But when we finished it, and I was thinking about it in my own head. I was like, I reckon there's something in this, because I used to always use another product that was more of just a straight electrolyte, thinking that's what my fluid's for, is just to put my electrolyte in, and then I'd supplement it with food or do whatever types of thing. They have changed my mind about this.
True. Okay.
So
juicy.
we promise you that whatever you hear on this show is totally just our opinions.
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
First
yeah.
and foremost, it's just our opinions. We're not going to promote or push anything that we don't condone or bloody believe in. So if we're talking about Tailwind right now, I'm saying if you haven't tried it, give it a whirl. It's worth a chance. If it doesn't work, so be it. I can tell you, there's some flavors that are shit.
Really?
There's and again, that's an each to their own opinion and personal flavor. There's a couple of flavors I don't like. There's one flavor, green tea, which is a caffeine based one, which they're discontinuing, and I really damn well like that one. So
well, everyone else didn't like that, mate. Probably. I
clearly.
don't know.
So
I've never had it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of things to try there. And I think lastly, our last essential thing on this bit of kit, I'm just going to go back to the cargo bib shorts, because we are giving away a pair of Tenelli cargo bib shorts here tonight on the show, or over the next 2 weeks, as you can enter this competition. And we promised you earlier that there would be a keyword, and the keyword is going to be, Reon.
Hold on, what was? Oh, gravel. Sorry, bro, I forgot. So the keyword is gravel.
The keyword is gravel. So what you got to do is you've got to go on both Tenelli's Instagram and Facebook, and the Cycling Collabs Instagram and Facebook. Give them a like, give them a follow.
Yeah.
And then you're going to...
How much are those shorts in the shop?
$169 off the top of my head, I think, roughly, is the retail value of a pair of those bib shorts. And they've got the good chamois in them too.
Yeah,
they've built this with the premium chamois as well, which is really cool.
Do you know because I know you can get Tenelli made up and your sponsors logos put up. Can you get those shorts
custom built
or not?
You can.
Maybe
they
not.
will custom make. I'm going to speak out of turn here, maybe, but no, they will. I've actually got a custom pair. The prototypes we made were in a custom, but you can only get the bottom band done, because where the pockets are up the side, the meshes, you can't supplement the mesh bits and things. So
you can't get extra leg length, maybe.
I'm sure if you're ordering a custom set, yes, they'll be able to do it.
Okay. But buying off the shelf, they've got the same cuts, but customize, you can potentially customize the leg length.
I'm just going to say yes, because I'll make Tobias, mate. You'll be listening. You just take what we're saying and roll with it, buddy.
All right. I still can't believe I didn't get wear a pair on the weekend, mate.
I'm sure we can hook you up there, mate.
Out the gate.
So that's what you do. You got to like both Tenelli and Cycling Collabs Insta and Facebook. Send us a DM. Send the Cycling Collab podcast a DM, private message to either the Facebook or the Instagram. Tell us what the keyword is, which is gravel, and also just tell us how you listen to this. Do you listen to it by podcast, or do you watch us on YouTube? And then you will go into the draw. Will be done on the 10th of December, Friday the 10th of December, by a random draw buddy generator machiney thingy wingy.
Sweet. And well, that's pretty cool. You get a free pair of $170 bib shorts.
Hell yeah. And I live in mine. Like, I actually really I got a few pairs of them there. And
so do you go to work in your bib shorts? Mate, you got to be honest, mate. Do you go to work in your bib shorts? Or?
Well, if I've ridden to work, I technically go to work in them. But to put your phone in, to put your gloves in, to put your gels and whatever. And actually, I put another pair of bibs on, and I go, shit, where's my pockets?
True. So, I did feel a little bit. You and Kate had them on. I did feel a bit, because when we turn out on the start line, there's all this kit, and I felt quite left out. I was like, I want to put stuff in my pockets, but I ain't got them. No, I'm not even joking, bro. Straight up. But it was handy to put your rubbish in.
Absolutely.
Do you know one thing about that Brevet? How do you say the name?
Petit.
Yeah, Petit
Brevet.
I didn't see any. We were coming last at one stage, and I seen no rubbish.
Well, I know we were coming last.
No, we were. Let's just be honest, bro. We're mid pack somewhere. But what I loved is that we're riding back, back country climbs, But I never seen one wrapper, nothing. I was looking for it, and I was like, in road racing, you see it all the time. It used to be real bad. Now it's cleaned up a lot. But and I didn't see any. And what I've seen about your pockets, you had rubbish in the left pockets, and same as Kate's as well. And I was like, I always put them inside my bib shorts. I try and fit them in my bag. I'm trying to get stuff out, but
I know, right?
For me, I seen that, and I was like, and then your phone and your right one, and I was like, I don't know if I trust it in my right leg moving up and down.
No,
but
I can tell you. I know I've got what have I got? An iPhone 12, reasonable size phone.
Oh, rich guy, I see. iPhone 12.
Jesus, here we go. I'm going to go work phone.
I'm on the dole.
And when actually with the first prototype of the Tenelli ones, one of my things was when I went back to them was, the pocket's just not quite deep enough. My phone just doesn't quite go in. So they're like, sweet, let's make that work.
So you're not scared of your $3,000 phone flipping out the top when your leg goes up?
Never ever has it ever.
Sweet.
And
That's
like,
cool.
we had it in there in the weekend.
Yeah.
I ride with it in there all the time on the road bike or whatever.
Sweet.
No, never has it ever.
Sweet.
One, you don't even feel it's there. Two,
got you.
I've never had a fear. I ride with it when I'm mountain biking.
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
it never worried me. So,
True.
no, the theory works. The theory's all good there and things.
Yeah,
but
cool.
I remember finishing the wilderness race and had all my rubbish in my left-hand pocket, and I had something else in the right hand, not my phone that day because it was too wet.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I wasn't very aerodynamic.
Oh, out the white. Yeah. Gotcha.
So I wasn't the most aerodynamic person with that.
Yeah.
But I'd contained.
But you looked the part. You look like a gravel racer.
I'd contained everything, and I was able to work out.
Yeah,
So,
gotcha.
and which was really handy.
Yeah.
We're just really digressing here on these bloody things. But in the rain, when we had our jackets and things
Yeah,
on,
you
you
can't
know
get
how
under.
hard it is to get in your back
that's
pockets
right.
when you've got that on. Well, I didn't need to worry about that because I'd stuffed a heap of stuff in my pocket. So another really cool reason for them.
All right.
Okay, so now let's talk about Saturday. What Saturday was,
Mate,
was
the
the Great Kiwi Gravels, Le Petit Brevet, and this has been going for quite some years.
This is so funny, bro.
This is a home race here in Christchurch,
This is so good.
rolled around the Banks Peninsula. Now,
Bro,
what is Le Petit Brevet? Let's just give them a
what
quick
is it,
thing.
mate? You tell us.
There was three options. There was three options given up. There was a 400 kilometer, a 300 kilometer, and a 200 kilometer option. Now, we have some realization and went 400. I think that's probably not us 400, but mate, 300 all day. Oh, 300 all day. We'll just go hard and we'll just have a wee kip.
I said to myself, I'm going to win this.
You did say, and you said you would go under 20 hours.
Well, I said, well, did I? Yeah. We had a debate.
We had a debate. Plenty of banter about that.
Yeah.
I'll just caveat that the 300 Ks is actually 298 Ks. Michael Vink.
True.
And it turned out to be roughly about 9,200 plus vertical meters of climbing. And let's talk about that. So I don't know. I don't even know where to start. It was such a
You just said the first swear word on the podcast. I've been trying not to swear this show for some reason.
Oh, I'm still traumatized.
You just said an F-bomb.
And I'm traumatized. So we're going to need a jar. So we need a swear jar.
Yeah, but hold on. So
it
was 298K. It was 9,800 meters of climbing that was suggested, said, is it Andy?
Yeah, Andy. Yep.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
What a rooster. Good rooster.
I've never met him before. And I met him. He was like energetic and I was swinging. He's talking to me like it was normal. I was like, you guys are all nuts. But he was so energetic and polite and cool. And what I loved about that event, bro, is we all turned up. It wasn't like you didn't, for this one, you didn't pay a $100 entry fee. There was no like marshal chat, get here, move here in the, for me, it was quite relaxed and like everyone was friendly and supportive and like, not that in any other races aren't, but I was like, this is actually pretty cool. There was no panicking and stressing before.
Well, how about the start? So Andy's given us the briefing, standing on his chair, giving us, all right, go now.
Yeah. Oh, bro, well, I was like, hold it. He goes, and then no one really moved, eh? And I was like, shit, do I sprint off or what? But and so do we show us what happened at the start? So
mate,
we go. So he goes go, and everyone looked around like, okay, we'll just head this way. And then 200's go up Rapaki, and I was like, they've got it sweet. That's a cool climb. And we head along Centaurus Road. So we get 16 meters into the start of the race, and all I hear is Reon. And I look behind, as I look behind at Katie, and she was like, my gears aren't working. She's got a S-Works. Is it SRAM X? What is
Axis.
it? Axis. So she's got a
wireless shifting.
Like a weapon bike. And there's all that banter. Why you got a wireless? It doesn't. It always breaks and that. So, but we actually bought spare batteries for it in case we charge everything up the night before. We make sure, like, she's a professional athlete. And so her gears weren't working. I was like, no, I want to be in the front pack, And I was like, I was so gutted. But I was like, okay, help Katie out, of course. And we couldn't work it out. So we got the spare battery out there, it's a brand new battery.
So a battery on the back of the derailleur. So the rear derailleur at the cassette on the axis has a battery. Yep, sweet. Cool.
Yeah. So put that in and it still wouldn't work. So we're 3 minutes down. So front pack's going along. In my mind, stay calm, don't get angry. It's only a race. We'll catch back up. And then we're trying to get it working again. I rang Mitch, get back here. He drove back to try and help us. We're 7 minutes down. And then we realized, maybe it's a shifter battery. And some people don't realize that the shifter has got a little 32, 30.
20, 32
yeah,
battery,
20, 32 battery
things,
in it. And we're like, hey, hold on. and I had a spare one of those in my backpack
Oh.
as well. I have every spare battery for every bike and da. So we bought it,
Bro.
but then we had to take the whole shifter off, and then the like battery thing was stuck with mud because it was being she'd ridden it for a year, and we couldn't get it off because we didn't have a coin. In my tool, I only had like a it was a little flathead screwdriver, but a little one. It wouldn't fit in properly. Long story short, 9 minutes later, we got it off. Long story short, we got it off. We changed it. We put it back on, and then we're down by 15 minutes. What do I say? Get on, mate. Effing wheel. And we continued to do 20 minutes at 456 watts to the bottom of the quarry, hit the quarry climb. And I was like, surely, Mitch goes, oh, you'll catch him before the quarry, and we didn't see anybody. Oh, we passed Joe Nation and that other dude.
Oh, they're in the 400.
Yeah, and they were just like, moseling along. We'll get to later on. They're in the 400. I was like, these guys are absolute weapons. And then we started slowly catching people up the Kennedy's Bush climb. And I
think it was 3/4 of the way up because you'd said to me, I turned around and you're like, oh, just go, we'll catch up. So I actually had no idea what was going on. I thought you had a flat tire or something. I actually didn't know. And then so I spun around there with everybody else. I was 3/4 of the way or more to the top when you finally come back.
Yeah, and I was like, and in my mind, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a 20-hour race. They won't be like racing like A grade elite pace, So I thought maybe we could catch up, not understanding they were on gravel bikes weighing 8.5 kg, and I'm on 27 kg mountain bike with a sleeping bag and this and mat and all that type of thing. Then the next thing happened. This is the adventure of these rides these people do. Then we got to the top. And we caught maybe 7 or 8 guys, and I was like, okay, this is our pack to get to Diamond Harbour. So we've got a little pack of here that'll roll or ride, and then get to the top, and Kate's helmet breaks. The strap snaps off, the little clip thing comes flying off, and I couldn't find it. You know what I mean? And then so Kate's got a small helmet, so I gave her my helmet. So now I've got this helmet that wouldn't fit on my head that had no clip in it to do 10,800 meters of descending, and I couldn't let her do that. So then there's our second thing. Then my power meter stopped working. Third thing. And these are all things saying, calm down and just relax like everyone else is riding.
But you didn't calm down. Because next minute, it's get on that wheel.
Get on the train.
And get on the train, and we're roaring across the top of the Summit Road. I think I think I've got like either, I can't remember if it's my fastest or second fastest time down Gibbies or some shit. Trying to hang on the back.
That was easy.
Free speed on the downhill, as you would tell us. And then we got on the big Reon tractor wheel to go all the way to Diamond Harbour.
Yeah.
And we caught some more people up there. So the pace
it was on. It wasn't. I knew we had a long time to go, but I was generally thinking, surely we can get. I just wanted to see them up the Port Levy climb.
Yeah.
Surely, mate, we didn't see anyone.
Nah. They were gone. They were
gone. They were right. Like I totally misunderstood.
Well, it was interesting because we actually passed some people at Diamond Harbour. I stopped to fill a bottle up quickly, so then we could miss the next water station and get the one after that. So we were strategically trying to play the water situation. And there were a couple at the service station that we thought were Nick Kennedy and things were there, and that was a bit of an interesting thing to see them there, which then they leapfrogged us back again, but.
Yeah, and my mind
was passed us going up Pura.
Yeah, because you said, should we stop? And I was like, don't stop here, because then we'll go a couple of minutes on them, and then maybe the front group will stop and to a right 200 meters up to the school, and we might get a couple of minutes back there. So that's why I wanted to go to the 67k water stop to maybe steal some minutes back just to see the front group again or see where it's at. One thing I've learned from those rides is whenever you pass someone, get some information out of them.
Yeah.
Because we passed Burnsy up the climb, someone had a puncher, and we should have said, how many is up the road? Is there a group up the road? What information? Because you don't see people for 4 hours.
You were too busy flinging shit instead.
Yeah. I was ripping it. But it's interesting, and then, mate, that water ride though,
Oh, I'd say
what a ride.
Amazing ride.
Holy
and it was
hell.
pretty epic. And so the first part is, Kennedy's is a good warm-up climb.
Yeah.
Purau, nice Tarsill Road. We've ridden that on our road bikes 1,000 times.
Yeah. Port Levy climb.
It felt twice as bloody steep this time round for some reason. And of course, the next one, Port Levy Pigeon Bay Road, the nice gravel. So that's a really, really nice gradient shingle road.
Yeah.
Rolls. It's a beautiful view. It's a lovely time.
Yeah. And to give people an understanding, we were like the Port Levy climb. I was only rolling at 260, 270 watts. I knew I had shit legs at that stage, and I knew we were in trouble. So we were riding just a tempo. And then the next climb was about 270, 280 watts as well. So we weren't like ripping it. We knew there's a long way to go. It was
Yep.
just like tempo,
Yep.
talking, riding next to each other, but
Yeah,
still
we're all
the
still
pace is
talking.
on. Yeah.
And then we get to where it started to get good. Some say good, maybe not. Pettigrews Road, which I know because I've ridden Pettigrews Road many times. It's a bit of a local road for me over there. It's like 22% gradient in places.
Yeah.
And we're fully laden. And I've never ridden it fully laden.
Mate.
Interestingly enough, I actually found it almost easier fully laden because I could actually stand up on the bike and nothing wheel spinned or tried to jump because there was so much weight holding it.
Is that
down.
when we did the right turn off the Tarseel?
Correct.
Yeah, got you. Max Jones was with us then.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Correct. So that was the first introduction to brutality.
Yeah, that was gnarly, right? So that was hitting as a double fence line.
Yeah, so that was my next thing is how good was double fence line?
Mate. Well, this is so out of it because my manager, Paddy Pawson, he's like a legend in motocross and mountain biking. He's a good dude. He takes guys from young people from corrections and courses, young people struggling to mountain bike. He takes some double fence line, and I've never done it, and he's like, "Oh, you're doing it backwards." Oh, okay. So we get to the top of Pettigrews Road, and you're like, "Oh, we've got to still 400 meters of climbing here," and it was the worst mountain biking part I've ever done in my life. I hated the whole section, bro. I hated it. There was how many fences? You had to get off. There was, mate, it was no single track. It was just like
I actually used to know.
Mate.
I can't remember what it is. I used to actually know the number of stiles and gates you had to climb over on
Mate.
that. And that's what I've been saying to you all week and before that double fence line,
bro.
essentially backwards, is the worst way to ride it. And like, as you knew, there were bits we had to walk because we couldn't physically ride up them, but they are rideable coming the other direction, coming down. So it was the tough way to ride it. And,
and it was interesting.
I don't know how long that took us. Did it take us 2 hours to go across here?
Who cares? I'm never going back. I'm never going back. But what was real crazy was when me and Kate overtook Joe Nation and that other guy,
Rufus
on the flat before Quarry, they caught us at the top of Pettigrews, and they then dropped us doing the 400 kilometer, 17,000 whatever meters of climbing, or 14,000. And I was like, these guys are crazy.
And they sailed past us.
Like, they flew. They did a good ride. And I was just like, mate, those guys are on another planet. Obviously, they're amazing riders, and it was pretty cool to see. But I was like, we've just been put in our place.
I don't know how far they got with their 400, but I know that 2 people started the 400.
Yeah, that's right.
And 2 people DNF'd.
Yeah. But mate,
so I don't know how far they got.
Yeah, they had mate, it's on his Instagram. He said the stats. They had a pretty monster ride, eh?
Yeah, I bet.
And I thought that was pretty ambitious of those boys. But mate, you could tell they were riding the stuff in double fence line, and we were running and walking.
Yeah.
But that was the other thing I really struggle with. Like, I do no other sport but ride a bike. Any walking, if I walk to the shop, I'm injured. My whole upper body is weak as piss. So that's what I need to be starting to think about now. Like, I need to be doing, like, at work, play touch with the guys. I need to kick a ball. I need to do a little bit more walking and upper body stuff to help with lifting bikes over and walking up rocks and helping down, because my body started breaking down, which is what I noticed.
What was cool, though, is that we were once again, second weekend in a row, we were together as a team. And
we got put in the gutter.
We got put in the gutter. Well, that's right. Second weekend in a row, we got put in the gutter.
Yeah.
And we had all those styles and fences. And as a team, we had that down pretty pat. We were passing bikes. First one, we go across, pass bikes across, hold the bikes, hold the gate, whatever.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. Like, that was like really, we nailed that
cool.
part.
What the where I knew I was in trouble, and I knew I was like not having a good day, and from the start, obviously, was up the hilltop climb, the gravel climb,
Harmon's track.
Well, Kate beat us both up. You dropped me up there, and I was struggling to hold 240 watts. Now, for me, that is you need to go home now.
So there's 2 things there. The heat was starting to come out. Then that was about when the heat of the day. Well, it wasn't quite the peak of the heat of the day. It was about when the heat was starting.
Yeah.
I figured that you weren't liking the heat too much.
Yeah, no. I was gone.
And then the second indicator was, but to be fair, I've done a lot of gravel grinding, I suppose, so I'm kind of used to that whole really slow, horrible suffering.
Yeah.
But we got to the hilltop up that climb, and it was supposed to be a water stop. We had scheduled that the hilltop would be our next waterfall. We get there, and you go, "Oh, do you think we could have a bowl of fries and a Coke while we're here?"
Yeah. I was like, mate, I was gone for all money. Like, honestly, and I knew. And what I started thinking back was like my preparation again with work and no training and a whole week off before this race, and the week before wilderness, the whole week off, and the week before that, and beer for 7 days. Like, I've done no training, and then when you don't train or you've been sick for 7 days or whatever, then I don't eat, I don't have my appetite, and I knew if I've cracked 3.5 hours in, 4 hours or whatever it was, I was like, we've still got 20 hours to go basically, and this is not going to be pretty.
Oh yeah, but no excuses. We knew what we had. We were all the same, but we still turned up and we gave it a crack.
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
And,
But
and
that's
what?
where we knew I was in the shit.
Yeah.
You know, like.
But then after the bowl of fries, you actually came good for a bit, and I said to Kate, Jesus, I preferred this before when you were on the back bloody dying.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
It was way better because
Yeah.
you relived and come back to life. So we left. We left the hilltop, went down into Little Akaloa.
Yeah.
Nice descent into there.
Yeah, that was pretty cool actually.
And we're about to do the Bay Hop, Little Akaloa, O'Kane's, the Bonds, and just how stunning is it in those areas?
Oh, mate, it's awesome riding.
It's
eh?
just like I want
Yeah.
to come. You need to come back
Yeah.
without all this gear and all this movement going on.
Yeah. So our next stop, our scheduled stop. So in my mind, I was like, just get to the next shop or destination where you can get a Coke, Sprite, or whatever.
So we'd left the hilltop, gone down to the Little Akaloa. We talked about, because we're always talking along the way, and I'd said, don't worry, we'll get a Coke at O'Kane's Bay. The O'Kane's Bay shop will be open. It's the weekend. It'll be open. I promise you we'll get Coke there. Let's just suffer out this heat and this next climb. So
there was 3 climbs. There was 3 40,
Bay.
50-minute climbs to get to that point.
No, because we'd come from the hilltop. So we'd only gone down.
Sorry.
We'd only gone down to Little Akaloa. We just needed to come out of Little Akaloa and go into O'Kane's.
Gotcha.
But the heat was really turning on.
But there wasn't just one climb. Remember we went up and we had to keep going? Well, I was like, hold on. I thought this was it. And you're like, oh, there's another part. It was a double whammy, mate.
I didn't actually see that one coming. I have to be honest, I didn't see the second little piece of that coming. But
so we finally get there and then we pull up. There's a couple of other riders there and they're off their bikes looking sad as hell. And I was like, oh, what's up? They're like, oh, you're not going to like this. And I was like, oh, what? And there was no lights on. There's no people in. And it said, sorry, closed for a family emergency. And I was like, mate, I'm so cracked. It's not funny. This is not good for us. Like,
good buggers. They'd had a family emergency, had to shut the thing, but they did leave a 20-litre container of water with a little note saying, for cyclists, we're sorry. On it, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. And the really other cool thing that put me in my place, there was an old dude there that was already beating us. He'd been there for 10 minutes. He was like, and he was all happy.
Trying to get my head around how he was there.
No, there's a few people there, right? And I was like, but it was an old building. There was an old phone box there. Kate got a real wicked photo.
Oh, it's a cool shot.
It was cool to be there, right? But I was extremely gutted. And I knew, bro, there was 3 1-hour climbs to go after O'Kane's Bay. And I'll tell you what, I anticipated that shop being open, Coke, and I'm
ice cream. I was thinking, I'd already been thinking ice cream.
And I guess that's the part of these races, the unknown factor. You don't know if anything's closed. You're in the middle of nowhere for 3 days. The one's coming up. It's like you just don't know. And so I guess it's piss poor preparation. Well,
the next thing was that later in the day we figured that out too, that the unknowns, because I remember at one point early in the day, it was 8:30 in the morning. Think, fuck, we've gone a long way, and oh shit, there's another one for the swear jar.
Yeah, you're in this too.
I'm in deep now. I remember going, shit, it's only 8:30, and we've gone a long way. And then I was like, it's 10:30, man. We've done a fair bit because we started at 6. And then on that climb, well, actually the last climb we ended up doing, it was all of a sudden it was like 5:30 at night.
Yeah,
and I don't know where that day went. But all of a sudden it was 5:30, and then going from there, it's like, shit, when we get to Akaroa, time's going to be on here, and we're going to need to find somewhere to eat.
Yeah, that's right. Something. Can we just talk? What was that climb? What was that climb, bro? Where it was the second last big hill.
They call it Big Hill for a reason,
mate. That was out the gate. So some old guy turned the wrong way, had a yellow top on. Some old school hitter with like 4 bottles on his bike, looked like a proper gravel dude. Nice guy, chatted us to us,
super nice guy
on a gravel bike and that. And he looked like mate, he was definitely 60, surely, right?
Yeah, I had older in the shade.
Like ripped as hell, tanned ass. So he does a lot of riding. He knows his stuff. And he said he went down the wrong bay or something, done a few extra 100 meters. But he was coming back and forth to us. So then he ended up going. But on that climb, I made this stupid mistake. He come past me, and you guys were like, oh, he's not going that good. Oh no, you said, oh, he's going pretty good. And I was like, no, he's not. So I tried to bridge up to him, and I couldn't even do 260 watts.
I remember saying, you can chase him down there, because I could just see the way your body language all of a sudden changed, and you were like, oh, I'm going to get him.
And I was like, see, that's that whole ego and pride of getting someone comes and sticking to your own plan, not buying into someone else's ride time, or, and getting caught up. And then, mate, that was the hardest climb of my life. No, I kid you not. And I was like, how are people doing this? It's there where I realized, and I was like, no one's finishing this in one day. And even that old guy said, no one will finish this in one day. And I was like, who is even inventing these races? I was like, this is stupid. I want to, bro. I was wanting to sleep after 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. I was like, I want to get on the side of the road with this the lightest sleeping bag that I've got, and the pack thing that we're going to sleep on, and I was done. I needed to rest straight away. But we kept going, mate, to the top, and that's where, mate, I was like, I started getting, I had pins and needles from the heat. Mate, I was gone for all money. But I was like, we've got to get to Akaroa, and from that point there, we rode along the summit road over the race, so I kind of knew we were going.
No. After we'd done Big Hill Road, that's when we went down into Le Bon's Bay.
Oh, bro.
So we still
yeah, okay.
How could you forget? So we had one more big tar seal climb to come out of Le Bon's Bay.
Yeah.
Which Kate and I were having a great time.
Yeah, I was gone as well. Yeah, that was the final. I think that was the final nail in the coffin.
That was. There's some. If you haven't already seen, actually, it might have only been on our
That's
Insta
when I was
story.
walking.
I tell you what I'll do. I put it up on our Insta story.
Yeah,
some
mate.
good video footage of the top of us
bro.
at the top of the Le Bon's Bay climb, off our bikes, having a wee discussion, and some more of Reon walking. I might have to put them up as a proper story, proper post, so that they're there forever in gold.
I just felt like walking. It was better for me, my body, to walk. I'd been done with riding. How many hours do you reckon we were in there? We're a fair bit, I know.
11 or so, 11 and a half. It would have taken us another hour and a half or something to get back to Akaroa from there. So maybe 11 or something.
The crazy thing for me is I've done heaps of rides at that distance, and I know what it feels like to ride averagely, and I was way below average, and I knew we're in dire straits to even finish. It'd be dangerous for me to keep going because I was going that shite.
So we had originally planned that we were going to go to Akaroa, we were going to get something to eat, and then we would do the climb out of Akaroa up Long Bay Road, drop down into Devotionals, and actually we were originally planning on having dinner at Devotionals. Actually, is what we were planning on doing, and then assess whether we went much further that night, camped over, and then went the next day. Well, that was well out the window, right? We probably made a group decision there a little bit as to that we'd had enough. And when I say we'd had enough, the day had been amazing. We had the most epic day with so many stories, so much laughter. All sorts of things going on. That
the cool people.
It was shit, but it was still good. And it was at that point that maybe we should just leave it and leave it good before it goes bad.
And at that time, we weren't pulling out. We were like, let's just get, our main goal was to get to Akaroa, right?
Yep.
And I was like, I definitely need a good feeder, and I need to get off the bike for a minimum of an hour. And let's just assess the situation. Because there was talk about going here and here. Let's get in. Go. I was like, okay, we should do our next goal, Akaroa. That's like a bit of that's our next stop point. And then so we cruised along the summit road, thinking, we're just going down along. There's a couple of little 70-meter climbs, rollers, like we do in the race all the time. So nothing, right? Then we come across that guy in the raffia gear when his pedal
going the other way, and he was on his way back out again.
Yeah, he'd already come to Akaroa, did that climb, and he goes, my mate's up the road an hour and a half, and I was like, no, wait,
which meant that he had about 3 hours in us by that stage or more.
I was flabbergasted, and I was like, no way. Anyway, we tried to help him, we couldn't, and we would have given him our pedal, but he couldn't get his pedal off, so I was gutted for him. And then anyway, we get to, what is it, Pepper Point, or what was that last climb?
Something Peak.
Yeah, we get to Pepper Peak or something.
No, I can't remember what it's called.
It climbs up behind Akaroa. It's like a walking track.
It's a walking track. Yeah.
It wasn't even mentioned it was a climb, I don't think. Okay, and then we seen those walkers coming, and I was like, is that a descent? And they looked at us like with a death march on the eye. They're like, no, definitely not. And I was like, no. That's where I was like, I am not going to finish.
And it wasn't funny once we'd made the decision and we'd made a bit of a mercy phone call to our taxi / saviour. I thought I was going to get player of the day on Saturday, but then Sandra coming to pick us up from Akaroa, totally get player of the day.
Mate, I was gone.
Once we'd made that decision, wasn't it interesting that once we'd made that decision that every time on that walking track we had to stop to walk a section or lift over a style? It took it was 5 minutes of procrastination or more. It took us forever to get to Akaroa because we had just already accepted, well, that's it. We're only going to so all of a sudden a whole lot of procrastination.
Do you think, bro, there was a few comments made throughout the ride, definitely after the kind of 5-6 hour mark. Like we weren't saying we're going to pull out, but a couple of little jokes here and there. I think I says, I tell you what, I'm going to sleep in my sleeping bag in the motel. I tell you what, I don't know about this. This is pretty hard. I started going, no one's going to finish this race in one day. Telling myself I'm not going to finish. So, there's all these subliminal little messages and negative self-talk that come in, they get bigger, and you start feeding and buying into it, the negative, and I was negative at the start. and I'm pretty good at turning myself around with that stuff. But when the fatigue gets into 12, 13 hours, and you know you're going shite as well, it's like I knew that none of you guys would say it like until I started.
We were forcing you to say it.
Yeah, I
is
know,
what we
I know.
were saying.
I knew it, and then do you know what? I went up to Kate, bro. I was like, "Hey, babe, I don't think it's safe for me to carry on." And she was like, "No, we can stop. We'll just ask Angus if he wants to stop, or we'll help him." And then the joke became, "Me and Kate are going to stop, and you have to finish for the podcast."
Yeah.
And you were like, "Oh no, we're a team here. We're a team." It was pretty good.
And exactly. And there's absolutely no shame in saying that we did not finish this 300-kilometer ride. We talked this up. Well, you talked it up,
Yeah,
said
I
you were going to
did.
do that. And we have no shame in saying that
Yeah.
actually what we did, like I said, we had an absolute fabulous day. We had a great
Yeah,
day
yeah,
out
that's
together, riding our bikes, doing what we love.
Yeah.
And we live to fight another day. We're
Yeah.
not half as fatigued as we probably would be. And full credit to those that finished it and got around it. And
Miles Gibson, 16 hours.
I want to swear. I just want to say,
first off, he put us in the gutter. But I was like, no one's finishing this race. You know, and within 20 hours. And when you sent it to me, the next I woke up, cracked, and you sent it to me, and I was 16 hours something. I was just like, no way.
So he was 16 hours 14 or something moving time, but I think he was like 18 hours or something total because he was actually finished at 11:08. So what does that make it? Whatever it makes it. At night, so he didn't even use the second day. So, but you know,
so
he had a gravel.
Does ride Southland. He's a quality good rider.
Yep, rode the Tuatara 1000 in 75 hours.
That's right. With Gene Marsh, did they?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think I was following them actually. But like that, mate. When you're in the race and you're getting your ass whipped and you know how hard those climbs are, and then when I like going against the Strava, he was beating us up the climbs by 20 minutes, 15 minutes. We were matching him on the descents because he had a gravel bike, we had a mountain bike maybe, you know, obviously. But he was just whipping us all over consistently.
And I mean, he's been there before. He's done it. He went with the right intentions. He was going around the loop in one day. That's that period. That's all he had. He only had a few clothes. He had a gravel bike. He only had a small bag of tools.
Yeah, whatever he had. But
So he had completely the objective. He was going to do it.
Yeah.
So Miles Gibson, like,
that's a phenomenal
that's
ride.
A really, really impressive ride.
I'm just like, he must have like his. What was his average watts for that? You know, I think it was 220, but I was like, surely it's higher than that.
Yeah, average speed 18 k's an hour or something. I think it was.
Mate, that was a phenomenal ride, eh? Like even to finish that in the 30 something hours you get given or whatever, but to finish that in one go without being supported and on a gravel bike when you've got half those climbs, those double fence line and that purple one and up last one into Akarai. Mate, you had to walk all that thing. So he had to cart that bike around. You couldn't ride it. So he would have lost time there.
Yeah, totally.
But gained it on all the climbs and what, you know.
Clearly fairly efficient at walking and running and going through those bits. So,
it'd be pretty cool to know what he ate and drunk in his little strategy was, eh?
It would be, wouldn't it?
But, you know, in my mind, I was like, I'm never doing that again. 2 days later, I'm looking at gravel bikes. I'm like, I actually want to go and do it and see what the difference between a gravel bike, road bike, you know, all those types of things. Not that I could beat that guy because that is such respectable what he done.
Automatically, what I was thinking, actually, I was saying it on the ride. What I should have done was taken the gearing off my mountain bike and put it on my gravel bike. Because the reason I didn't ride my gravel bike was because the gearing's just not right for 22% gradients, one after another.
Yeah.
So I guess before I get to a couple of stats, we'll be back, is what we were sort of saying.
Yeah, we have to finish that.
We're like, well, okay, we've learned, we've earned we've respected it, and
for sure.
Shit, let's have another go at it because it was a bit of good fun.
Yeah. And you know what? I can't believe how cocky was I. I mean, I wasn't saying I was going to win it, but I was like, I want to finish it, mate. I'm not a climber. I've never been a climber, and a race 9,800 meters of climbing, I think I'm going to go good in. I mean, what was I even thinking?
I was the whole time laughing off the back when you're going, I think we're nearly at the front. We're just going to get to there. We're on the front of the race. We've got to get back to the front of the race. And I'm just sitting there going, holy fuck.
Yeah. On my mountain bike with my penny, whatever you call it, 27 kg. I was like, bro, in the wrong race.
You don't lack enthusiasm, do you? That's for sure.
I know.
A few stats from it was that we did approximately 168 Ks or something. What we did, and we did 5,440 meters of vert in that time. So that's what we achieved in it, which was good and a good day out. 400 kilometers, there were 2 starters, 2 DNFs. The 300 kilometers, there were 40 people lined up for the 300 kilometers. 24 DNFs, so 16 made it all the way around over the 2 days. Bearing in mind that you did have 36 hours to complete this in.
True.
So people had their overnighters at Akaroa and then just
Yeah.
rode away the next day. They did a good job. 52 started the 200k and 10 didn't finish that. So that's a good finishing result there.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have done the 200 to start with, but I do actually know in the 300, and there were actually a few people that just started going, I like the route. I'm going to ride the day and just see where I go, and then I'll go home or whatever. So there's a few
Yeah.
people who didn't even intend on finishing. They
Yeah.
just
Okay. Got you.
went to have a good day out on the bike.
Gotcha.
A big, huge thanks goes out to Andy and the Great Kiwi Gravel team for putting
Yeah.
that on, because there's a shed load of time goes on mapping
Yeah.
that, coming up with it, doing all of that sort of stuff, and to
Yeah.
not charge an entry fee and have that as a free to anybody is pretty cool.
wicked,
Because he's sitting at home, you're texting him when you're pulling out of things, and he's collating, making sure everybody's back and safe and
it's
all that
pretty
sort of
cool.
stuff, giving up a heap of time. He also,
What does he run?
the Great Kiwi Gravel also runs the Tuatara 1000 Reon.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to see if we can get in first, but like it's the Hayden McCormick one. That Hayden McCormick's a bit of a weapon, eh?
More
And
than
I remember
more than a bit
following.
of a
I
weapon.
was watching him on Instagram, and he was like up like 4 a.m, 5 a.m. He had to get this Fury. He missed it. Went the wrong way. He had to ride an extra 100k. Like it was actually phenomenal to watch him do that. He was riding for Black Spoke at the time on a gravel bike, and yeah, that was fascinating. So I think, mate, if me and Kate can get in, well, I'll say this: I'm extremely keen, but I won't be. I want to finish it. You know what I mean? So I think you get 10 days. Is
the
it?
job's on.
Yeah, the job's
6
on.
days, don't you?
No.
7 days.
I think
it's
it's
not 10
10
days, is it?
Oh,
nah,
no.
I don't think so.
Well, it's 1,000 kilometers, mate.
It's
We
only
couldn't even
it's
finish
only 100 a
300
day. How can it be?
True.
I think it's 6
Well,
days.
it's not really a race, is it? It's more of an adventure, isn't it?
Correct.
So my goal, I'd say yes, if we can get in and Andy can like get us in there or whatever, then I know Kate will be keen. I'll be keen. Are you keen?
Oh, mate. Well,
and I read on the website, I think
we can't be the three amigos with only two
that's
of us,
right.
can we?
That's right. But what are the rules? Apparent is there no drafting? So if
Okay,
I want to
so
ride
this
with
is
you,
another whole podcast. And,
okay, let's get into this.
You know, but
okay, I'm keen to do it though. I really am.
Okay,
I wanna do it.
Andy, I know you're probably going to watch this at some stage and listen.
Yeah, hopefully.
The Cycling Collab podcast, keen as mustard. Let's get involved next year and ride your Tuatara 1000.
Yeah.
Hit us up. Let us know. I think we can make that work somewhere, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It is time to go, though. This is our podcast done. Don't forget, people, our competition that's running for a pair of a pair of Tenelli. So I've been talking too long. A pair of Tenelli cargo bibs, value of about $169, just off the top of my head. Coolest bit of cycling kit that you'll use this summer on your adventures. Get over to Tenelli and the Cycling Collab podcast, Facebook and Instagrams. Give them both a like and a follow. Send us a DM on either Facebook or Instagram. Tell us that the keyword is gravel, and we will draw a winner for that pair. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. Tenelli have said they'll post it to you anywhere, which is pretty cool. So in the meantime, don't forget, on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, Insta, Facebook. You can email all the complaints about Reon to the cyclingcollab@gmail.com. Until next time, my friend, adventure on.
See you later.
See you.
Peace.